Hi everyone, and welcome back to Inner Alchemy Conversations. I'm really excited to be diving into the episode of today, the conversation of today, and we are going to be talking about purpose, specifically the vibration of purpose. The intention of this video, of course, is not to tell you how to find that purpose. It's not to give you a methodology. It's not to give you 10 steps to find your purpose. That's not what we're doing here in this moment. That's not what we will do today. The intention of this video is not to give you guidelines. It is not to give you an A plus B plus C equals D kind of formula in order to find your purpose. The intention of this video is to share a transmission with you, a transmission of energy. A transmission of energy that can help you potentially line up with that frequency, that vibration of what it feels like to be in that place of purpose, that place within yourself. And I really want to put things this way. Every single paradigm that we are experiencing, whether it's a paradigm where you feel completely fulfilled in purpose, or a paradigm where you feel like you're completely out of whack, you don't know what you're doing, you feel like you're on the wrong path, quote unquote, you feel like you're completely lost. Those are emanations, those are reflections of your inner environment. So the intention of this video is really to attempt to share with you what that inner environment of purpose feels like. And from that place, from that inner environment of purpose, maybe you can project yourself into what it looks like for you. So this is the intention of this video. And before that, I really want to talk about something. A huge relationship, in my opinion, that is very often underrated, between trauma, between neglect, between trauma with a big T or a small t and purpose, between abandonment and purpose, between emotional pain and purpose. Because for the vast majority of people that come to work with me, what happens is they grew up in environments where it wasn't safe to take up space. All their needs weren't necessarily heard, welcomed by their parents, whether it was material needs or emotional needs, need for comfort, need for safety, need for reassurance, need to be heard, need to be hugged, need to be loved, need to be comforted, whatever you want to put into that box. And very often when these needs aren't really met, we learn how to disown ourselves, our needs. We learn how to push it away. This can create a deep disconnect within, where we begin to internalize there is something wrong with us. There is something not appropriate with us. We learn how to take as very little space as possible to really avoid receiving the slap in the face of having your need dismissed over and over again. So we very often disconnect from that space within ourselves that feels like I am worthy of wanting it. I'm worthy of wanting this specific thing. I'm worthy of needing this. I'm worthy of taking up space. I'm worthy of having a voice. I'm worthy of just standing tall. I'm worthy of being seen. I'm worthy of being heard. I'm worthy of having a contradicting opinion with other people. Very often we disconnect from that place within ourselves. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because when we are disconnected from that place within ourselves, from a place of worthiness, of even having a want or a desire, because I'm inviting you to picture purpose as a desire to live in a specific way, a desire to receive a specific thing from the universe that is really, really, really intimate. So imagine that all these basic needs weren't fully met the way you needed them to be met. Imagine that all these needs for affection and all these wants and desires, it wasn't really safe to express them. Fast track, 10 years later, 20 years, 50 years, 30 years after, very often people don't even feel safe reclaiming purpose. So that is the very first thing. It is like that huge, deep relationship between trauma and purpose, neglect and purpose, feeling denied and dismissed and purpose. Because very often, when we haven't fully integrated the parts of us that we had to disown, to ignore, in order to kind of be accepted or approved of in our households growing up, when we haven't integrated, healed that part yet, it is really, really hard to reclaim purpose whatsoever. It is extremely challenging to reclaim purpose whatsoever. So I'm going to put purpose a little bit more into perspective, what it truly is. If we put ourselves in this perspective that you are a spiritual being that had an intention before showing up here, that you are a spiritual being that came here with an idea of what you wanted to achieve with this life, what role you wanted to play on the planet in this moment. And that as you embody this corporeal body, you were gifted free choice to decide, am I going to remember this idea? Am I going to remember this purpose and embrace it? Or am I going to choose something different? Because I truly believe that we are gifted with that free choice. This is something we give ourselves. And because we have that free choice, we can decide not to embody purpose, or we can decide to remember it, to go after it, to embrace it, and to be seen in the full embodiment of us in purpose. Now, if you then look at that purpose, quote unquote purpose, as that deep desire, that deepest desire of the soul, that deepest yearning of the soul that you had before coming up here, and that you got trained because of the environment that you grew up in to just deny your other desires, what do you think happens with one of the most intimate, cherished desires ever, one that you had at a soul level? Very often it is buried. Very often we push it very far away. And some people are aware of it, some people are a little less aware of it, some people are even aware of it but are not yet at a place where they are fully willing to reclaim it. So this is basically what purpose is. It's like a desire for the soul, which is one of the most intimate desires you ever had and you will ever have in your life. And the other thing that I often say about purpose, it is a path rather than a point. It is a path rather than a point. It doesn't necessarily have a definition of, I came out here to be this specific thing and that's it. It looks like a path for me. Or at least that is how I choose to relate to it. So if we go back to the conversation, I have this deep cherished desire that I haven't fully allowed myself to share with the world, sometimes even with myself, to confess to myself. Sometimes the first step is actually integrating that little child within yourself that didn't have permission to voice what you wanted, that didn't have permission to be seen fully, that was shut down, that was numb, that was ostracized, that was bullied. Because the vibration of purpose is actually intimacy with the world. And I'm going to repeat that. The vibration, the frequency of purpose is intimacy with the world. One teacher of mine says, If you can imagine that you are standing on a stage where there are billions of people looking at you, and you are completely naked, about to give the talk of your life. And if you can really bring in the vibration, the energy of that perspective, you are now opening up to the frequency of purpose, because you are sharing the most intimate thing, your nakedness, with the universe, or with the rest of humanity if you choose so. Another image that I'm going to give you is, suppose that for the first time ever you are having you're having sex with someone. For the first time ever, conscious sex. I'm not talking about you were drunk and then it happened. I'm talking about fully consensual sex, where you chose to be there and you were sober. And for the first time ever, you're letting the other person look at your naked body, and you are conscious that they are looking at your naked body. The light is turned on. That nakedness, that intimate space that has been created with the other person, is the vibration, the frequency of what it feels like to reclaim. This is what I choose. This is what I want. This is what I'm inviting into my life. This is what feels the most resonant with my heart. This is intimacy. There is a huge relationship between purpose and intimacy. And this is the other reason why there is a huge relationship between purpose and trauma, or between purpose and our pain and our wounds, because these wounds, they create something within. They block intimacy with ourselves. And if we are not intimate with ourselves, it's even hard to feel that vibration of integrity. It's hard to feel that energy of, oh, this is what turns my light on. If we are not intimate with ourselves, to a certain degree, we are emotionally numb. And if we are emotionally numb, we can't fully bring the whole of who we are to the world, because we are operating from a divided perspective. We are operating from a perspective that is not fully the wholeness of who we are in any given moment. So that reclamation begins with the reclamation of desire, the reclamation of like, this is what I choose, this is what I desire, this is what turns my light on. The reclamation of integrity. This is what feels in alignment. This is what feels resonant with me in this now moment. This is what I am willing to welcome and embrace. I have a question for you. Do you ever happen to confess to yourself that this is what I want? I want this. I choose this. And this is not from a place of creating an attachment, because another part of purpose, another key part of purpose, in order to fully embrace the manifestation of purpose in your life, is really not only to make peace with the potential, but also to make peace with the shadow of the potential, meaning embracing and opening your heart to the possibility that that purpose never happens, and yet you would still choose to love and accept yourself. And this is the reason why shadow work is important in that process of reclamation of purpose. This is the reason why, if you are not willing to become the space to also accept the possibility that that purpose may never happen, that you may live your whole life like some sort of spiritual vegetable, going through life without fully feeling fulfilled, then it's going to be really hard to embrace purpose. It's going to be extremely challenging to embrace purpose. A heart that can fully be in purpose is a heart that can welcome at the same time the polarity and the duality of that spectrum of purpose, fully embracing it or living for the rest of your life completely lost. Completely lost. So I'm inviting you to ponder that for a second and to ponder that image. You standing on the stage of the world, completely naked, about to deliver the speech of your life. And you are completely conscious, completely in your body, completely aware of what your body feels, completely aware of what it feels. Very often, in order to embrace fully purpose, there are a few emotions that we need to practice holding space for. Shame is one of them. Because when you choose to be seen for who you truly are, it is extremely possible that people might not agree with that core of who you are, and that they might project shame on it. And if you are not capable of holding that projection, you are just going to go back in your shell like a turtle. So that's an extremely important part of purpose. Can I be a space holder for people to think it is dumb? Can I be a space holder for people to think it is ridiculous? Can I be a space holder for people to believe that I cannot do it? Can I be a space holder for people to disagree with this vision? Can I be a space holder for people not to be able to see what I can see clearly? Becoming a space holder for all of this, we begin to lean into the frequency of purpose. And in my opinion, the frequency of purpose is very close, extremely close to the frequency of freedom. The frequency of freedom. Because as we start to remember the purpose of the soul, the desire of the soul, it is also very important to remember one of the key attributes of the soul, which is freedom. So this is what I wanted to connect with you, to share with you today. And I hope this conversation is sparking something within you. I'm inviting you to share with us what resonated most with you about this. And I'm inviting you to really allow yourself to lean into that space. What is purpose for me? What is the frequency of purpose for me? What is the part of me that I need to integrate in order to reclaim that I truly want this, I truly choose this? I'm inviting you to reflect on this. And for those of you who are truly about that reclamation of purpose, we have our 12-week group coaching package, Integrate, that will be starting in August. It is a very, very private group. We only have 12 souls, 12 people that are allowed in that community. It is starting August 18th, and this is the last round for Integrate of this year. If you are feeling any resonance whatsoever with about the conversation we had today, I'm inviting you to go check my website, xavierdagba.com, and to check if Integrate resonates with you. I am grateful that you chose to spend some time with me listening to this today, and I'm looking forward to share more perspective in future episodes of Inner Alchemy Conversations. Thank you for being here. I send you so much love, and I'll talk to you soon.